Okay, are you finished? Group one? One, two, three. Group one, what did you talk about? Which episode?
We talked about the carnival episode.
Uh-huh.
And, well, because I think it's one of the, in our opinion, was one of the joyful to read, because all the vivid descriptions. What we have found is that I didn't know is that because I'm from Spain, I'm more close to the carnival tradition than they. So we end up talking about typical traditions between Korea and my country. And I have explained the origin of carnival, because sometimes it just looks that it's only party and disguising and drinking. But the origin of carnival is much deeper in the Catholic tradition. So
and also there is a sense about the bring the candles in the hallway. The sentence are very descriptive in so we talked about that.
One of students said Dickens' description of the carnival is very interesting. I think so. And second group, what did you talk about? What episode? Rome? Yes, Rome. Yeah. All of this is about Rome. And which episode? Very beginning? You mean the introduction? Introductory part? Oh. You like it? Why? Oh, okay. Group 3, what did you talk about? Which episode? Which episode? What story? Rome? Yeah. All of the episodes about Rome, and it's divided into topics, smaller topics. What topic? Which episode did you like? Or actually, one student liked the part describing Colosseum, and have you been to Colosseum? This one? This is a very old one, Colosseum or Colosseum, also known as Flavian Amphitheater. On Hanwha campus there is the amphitheater, right? 노천극장. Yeah, amphitheater. It is an oval shape, oval amphitheater in the center of the city of Rome, built of concrete and sand. It is the largest amphitheater ever built. The largest amphitheater probably in Rome. Can you think of any other amphitheater larger than this one? This one is the biggest, largest in the world? I'm not sure, right? Maybe in Rome.
This one is the better preserved. Because you can actually see the whole structure, but there has been, I think,
in Greece, probably bigger.
In Greece or in other parts of Italy, rest of Colosseums larger than this one.
Maybe right. In Mayan civilization, there are structures like this one, right? Made of steps, right? Probably, if you consider it as a amphitheater, it's bigger. I don't know. maybe one of the biggest, right? Certainly. And this is a very old one, right? Built in AD 70, built in 7 to 80 AD. So, and it's interesting. The amphitheater had been used for various purposes, right? Okay. You can. The Colosseum could hold between 50 to 80,000 people, a lot of people, right? Spectators having an average audience of some 65,000. Used for gladiatorial contests. Gladiator, did you see the movie? Gladiatorial contests and public spectacles, such as mock sea battles and animal hunts, right? Animal hunts, also executions, right? Christians were put in the amphitheater and let loose a lion, and the lion attacked the people and killed them. It's a kind of a cruel executions, right? Have you seen it? Animal hunt, executions, reenactments of famous battles, kind of theater, right? And dramas based on classical mythology. This structure ceased to be used for entertainment in the early medieval era. It was later reused for such purposes as housing, workshops, parlors for a religious order, a fortress, quarry, and Christian shrine. Partially ruined because of damage caused by earthquakes and stone robbers, right? Stone robbers. Some people want to steal what they want to use the stones, right? The Colosseum is still an iconic symbol of Imperial Rome. It's one of Rome's most popular tourist attractions and has also links to be the Roman Catholic Church. At each Good Friday, the Pope leads the complete way of the cross procession that starts in the area around the Colosseum. I didn't know. There is a procession by the Pope, right? Procession, right? And, so the Colosseum looks like this. Okay, here, Colosseum. More pictures, right? 1759 engraving. Paolo Panini. Interior of the Colosseum, Rome, 1832 by Thomas Gould. It's painter, I think, right? Gould. And this picture, right? Allied troops concealed the guidebook outside the Colosseum after liberation in 1944. And exterior, this is exterior. And the interior. And this is the inside. The inside of the Colosseum. This is the inside. So. Oh, look at this one. Lion. And the Christians say they're saying prayers just before they were killed by the lion, right? Okay, this part certainly is very interesting. Let's go to the part describing Colosseum. Corso. Let's begin with the first part, the very beginning of the essay. Rome, page 367. Rome, wicked, wonderful, old city. That's a subjective opinion, right? Dickens' subjective opinion. Rome, wicked, wonderful old city, haunting the very ground on which its people trod. It is the most impressive, the most stately, the most solemn, the most grand, majestic, mournful sight conceivable. Never in its brightest prime can the sight of gigantic Colosseum, full and running over with a lustish life, have moved one heart as it moved all who look upon it now, a ruin. This is a great ruin. God be thanked, ruin. As it tops the other ruins, so is the most important famous ruin, standing there, mountain among graves. Mountain among graves. Meaning what? There are many ruins, right? But it's like a mountain among graves. So do its ancient inferences outlive all other remnants of the old mythology and all the butchery of Rome in the nature of the fierce, cruel Roman people. Do you think Roman people are cruel and fierce and cruel? I think so, right? They could control the whole world, right? Oh. They could subdue other races, right? The Italian face changes. The Italian face changes as this visitor approaches the city. The Italian face. What does it mean? A person's face, or the face of Italia in general, is a metaphor? Is it a metaphor or a real thing? The Italian face changes as the visitor approaches the city. Oh, it's a metaphor. Italian, right? The whole Italy looks different as you approach it. Its beauty becomes devilish. Yeah, that's it. Beauty becomes devilish. And there is scarcely one countenance in 100 among the common people in the streets that would not be at home and happy in a renovated Colosseum tomorrow. Here was Rome indeed at last, and such a Rome as no one can imagine in its full and awful grandeur. We wandered out upon the Appian Way, and then went on through miles of ruined tombs and broken walls, with here and there a desolate, uninhabitable house, past the circus of Romulus, maybe this famous circus, where the course of the chariots, the stations of the jousts, competitors, spectators are yet as plainly to be seen as in old time. Past the tomb of Cecilia Metella, past all enclosure, heads or stake, wall or fence, away upon the open Campagna, where on that side of Rome nothing is to be behold but ruin, except where the distant Apennines bound the view upon the left. The whole wide prospect is one field of ruin, broken aqueducts, adopting the most picturesque and beautiful clusters of arches, broken temples, broken tombs, a desert of decay, somber, desolate, beyond all expression, and with a history in every stone that strews the ground. So, majestic. People have lived there for a long time. So, everything, all the things here are what? The remnants, right? Remnants. So, there are so many things there, and you can't fix them, right? They just left them, right? The fallen columns and fallen buildings, and if you fix them, tourists will no longer come, right? People from all the world come here to see the ruins. So Rome is the capital of ruins, right? The mountain in graves, Huh? And so the beginning is wonderful. It's like Dickinsonian. Dickinson. On Sunday, the Pope assisted in the performance of High Mass at St. Peter's. The fact of the cathedral in my mind on the second visit was exactly what it was at first and what it remains after many visits. It is not religiously impressive or affecting. It is an immense edifice with no one point for the mind to rest upon. And it tries itself with wandering round and round. The very purpose of the place is not expressed in anything you see there unless you examine its details. And all the examination of details is incompatible with the place itself. It might be a Pantheon or a Senate House or a great architectural trophy, having no other object than its architectural triumph. There is a black statue of Saint Peter, to be sure, under a red canopy, which is larger than life, and which is constantly having its great toe kissed by good Catholics. You kiss on the toe, right? You cannot help saying that. It is so very prominent and popular, but it does not heighten the effect of the temple as a work of art, and it is not expressive, to me, at least of its high purpose. Have you seen the statue of David? David's son, Michelangelo. I didn't think it's so big. It's huge, very big, right? Very beautiful too. A large space behind the altar was fitted with the boxes shaped like those at the Italian Opera in England, but in their decoration much more gaudy. In the center of the kind of theater, there's railed off was a canopied dais with the Pope's chair upon it. The pavement was covered with a carpet of the brightest green, and with this green and in the intolerable resin crimsons and gold borders of the hangings, the whole concern looked like a stupendous bonbon. On either side of the altar was a large box for lady strangers, and these were filled with ladies in black dresses and black veils. The gentlemen of the Pope's guard in red coats, leather breeches, and jacket boots guarded all this reserved space with drawn swords that were very flashy in every sense, and from the altar all down the nave, the broad lane was kept clear by the Pope's Swiss guard, which were a striped circle and striped tight legs, and carry halberds like those which are usually shouldered by those theatrical supernumeraries who never can get off the stage fast enough, and who may be generally observed to linger in the enemy's camp after the open country held by the opposite forces has been stripped out the middle by a conversion of nature. Okay, this is the beginning part, and Colosseum, let's see. Colosseum. You like Colosseum, right? Where is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, see. I see the picture, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, here, beginning. Rome. Okay. Page 366, second paragraph. When we came out of church again, we stood nearly an hour staring up into the dome, and wouldn't have gone over the cathedral then for any money. We said to the coachman, go to the Colosseum. In a quarter of an hour or so, he stopped at the gate and we went in. This is Colosseum. It is no fiction, but plain, sober, honest truth to say, so suggestive and distinct is it at this hour, that for a moment, actually in passing in, they who will may have the whole great pile before them, as it used to be, with the thousands of eager faces staring down into the arena, and such a whirl of strife, blood, and dust going on there, there's no language can describe. Its solitude, its awful beauty, its utter desolation, strike upon the stranger the next moment like a softened sorrow. Never in his life, perhaps, will he be so moved and overcome by any sight not immediately connected with his own affections and afflictions. To see it crumbling there an inch a year. Oh, really? Crumbling an inch a year, right? So, in 1,000 years, 1,000 inches down, right? Right. Its walls now arches overgrown with green. Overgrown with green. Its corridors open to the day. The long grass growing in its porches, young trees of yesterday spring up on its ragged parapets, bearing fruit. Chance produce of the seas dropped there by the birds who build their nests within its chinks and crannies to see its pit of flight, filled with earth and the peaceful cross planted in the center, to climb into its upper halls and look down on ruin all about it. The triumphal arch of the Constantine, Septimus Severus, and Titus, the Roman Forum, the palace of the Caesars, the temples of the old religion, fallen and gone, is to see the ghost of old. 67. Rome, wicked, wonderful old city. Oh, we started at the wrong place, right? Okay. It's funny, okay. Let's finish here. Okay, let's go to Corso, page 371. Corso is the street. Page 371, second paragraph. The Corso is a street a mile long. Very interesting. A street of shops and palaces, private houses, sometimes open into a broad piazza. There are verandas and balconies of all shapes and sizes to almost every house, not on one story alone, but often to one room or another on every story, put there in general with a so little order regularity that if year after year and season after season it had rained the balconies, hailed balconies, snowed balconies, blown balconies, they could scarcely have come into existence in a more disorderly manner. So this is the great fountainhead and focus of the carnival. So the Corso is about 10 meters wide, 1 mile long, right? Slightly more than 1 kilometer, right? But at the time, in the Roman time, it was very wide road, street, but now it's very narrow, right? Right. 2-lane street, right? Or things like that, right? Still is a description of the street, right? This is the great fountainhead and focus of the carnival, but all the streets in which the carnival is held, being vigilantly kept by dragoons, it is necessary for carriages, in the first instance, to pass in line down another thoroughfare, and so come into the Corso at the end, remote from the Piazza del Popolo, which is one of its terminations. Accordingly, we fell into the string of coaches and for some time jogged on far enough, now crawling on, at every slow walk, now trotting half a dozen yards, now backing 50, now stopping altogether, as the pressure in front obliged us. If any impetuous carriage dashed out of rank and clattered forward with wild idea of getting on faster, it was suddenly met or overtaken by a trooper on horseback, who, deaf as his own drawn sword to all remonstrances, immediately escorted back to the very end of the row and made it the dim speck in the remotest perspective. Occasionally, we interchanged the volley of confetti with the carriages next in front or the carriage next behind, and as yet, this capturing of a stray and errant coaches by the military was the chief amusement. Really, right? Presently, we came into a narrow street where, beside 72, okay, line of carriages going, there was another line of carriages returning. Here, the sugar plums and nosegays began to fly about pretty smartly, and I was fortunate enough to observe one gentleman attired as a Greek warrior catch a light whiskered brigand on the nose. He was in the very act of tossing up a bouquet to a young lady in a first floor window with a precision that was much applauded by the bystanders. As this victorious Greek was exchanging a facetious remark about a stout gentleman in the doorway, one half black, one half white, as if he had been peeled up the middle, who had offered him his congratulations on this achievement, he received an orange from a housetop full on his left ear and was much surprised, not to say discomfited, especially as he was standing up at the time, and in consequence of the carriage moving on suddenly at the same moment, staggered ignominiously and buried himself among his flowers. Some quarter of an hour of this sort of progress brought us up to the Corso, and anything so gay, so bright, lively as the whole scene there, it would be difficult to imagine. From all the innumerable balconies, from the remotest and highest, no less than from the lowest and nearest, hangings of bright lead, bright green, bright blues, white and gold were flowering in the brilliant sunlight. Okay, very detailed, right? And one of you talked about the money box, right? Can you find it? Page. Oh, page 83. 383. First paragraph from bottom. Page 383. Above all, there is always a receptacle for the contributions of the faithful in some form or other. If you enter a church, you see a box, right? Can you pass without leaving something in it? No? So if you go to a Buddhist temple, there's a box. In front of the Buddha, there's a box. So sometimes it is a money box set up between the worshipper and the wooden life-size figure of the Redeemer. Right? The box. And the believer, right? So what would you do? You're forced to put some money in it, right? And if you put some money, you feel good, right? So sometimes it is a little chest for the maintenance of the Virgin, right? The box, on the box there is saying, we're going to restore the Virgin, the statue, right? Sometimes an appeal on behalf of a popular bambino. Popular bambino, the Christ, child Christ, right? To repair it or repaint it. Sometimes a bag at the end of long stick thrust among the people here and there and vigilantly jingled by an active sacristan. So I'm not Christian and I go to church. When I went to church, there is a bag passing around, right? And you put your hand here. Instead of giving money, you pick some down, right? Did you do that? No. Right. Right. So it's interesting. Bambino. But there it always is, and very often in many shapes in the same church, and doing pretty well in all. Nor wanting open air, the streets in rows for often as you are walking along, thinking about anything rather than a tin canister, that object pounces out upon you from a little house by the wayside. 84. And on its top is painted, for the souls in purgatory, for the souls in purgatory, for the souls of your Father in purgatory. An appeal which the bearer repeats a great many times as he rattles it before you, much as Punch rattles the cracked bell, which is sanguine disposition makes an organelle. So he is observing very coldly, right, what is happening. And this reminds me that some Roman altars of peculiar sanctity, inscription, every mass performed at this altar frees the soul from purgatory. Oh, really? So in Korea, maybe in China, and there is a ceremony called Tashide, 49th day ceremony, right? So if a person dies, the soul stays here for 49 days, and you have to say a prayer to let him go to heaven on the 49th day. So this is called 49th ceremony, 49, right? I have never been able to find out the charge for one of these services, but they should needs be expensive. There are several processes in Rome too, the kissing of which confers indulgences for varying terms. That in the center of the Colosseum is worth 100 days. People may be seen kissing it from morning to night. It is curious that some of these crosses seem to acquire arbitrary popularity. This very one among them. In another part of the Colosseum, there is a cross upon a marble slab with the inscription, "Who kisses this cross shall be entitled to 240 days indulgence." But I saw no one person kiss it. Day after day, I sat in the arena, so scores upon scores of peasants pass it on their way to kiss the other. Very strange, right? They didn't kiss him, they go on to kiss on another, right? To single out details from the great dream of Roman churches would be the wildest occupation in the world, but Saint Stefano Rotondo, a damp, mildewed vault of an old church in the outskirts of Rome, will always struggle uppermost in my mind by reason of hideous paintings on which its walls are covered. Well, they say that this is the oldest church in a round form, right? Oldest church, and there are hideous paintings in it. The execution, the execution of the saints. So, okay, let's stop here, right?